Hello, welcome back to Leading Our Own Way. It's part 3 here on YouTube, Leading Our Own Way podcast. We're here with Tessa Jetson. If you've not tuned in, you've got to go back to listen to part 1 and 2 before tuning into this. But the procrastinator buster. We left off yesterday regarding the house that she had some traumatic experiences in with the toxic ex relationship. However, today we're looking at the legal battles that go alongside that, whilst creating a positive atmosphere when you're a parent with children in these difficult circumstances. We are, like this podcast, we want to empower others through these shared stories. That's exactly what Tessa is all about as well, through her communities and the engagement that she has in the career that she's building around all that, and has built, massively built, because she's also written a book. It's right behind me, Restart Your Life. She talks about the impact of the book and how it's impacted community engagement as well. So it's really powerful. We're going to break down the book, and it's very, very similar to mine. If you haven't bought mine either, I never plug my book, but go and buy these 2 books. Incredible. Here we are with Tessa. Make sure you come back for part 4 tomorrow. Cheers.
She went back from then, and her life's been a mess, and her son's an alcoholic. And I'm like, what did she told me? I said, what happened to you? Because she sneaked out of there. She goes, I went back. I'm like, oh my God. And she said she only just recently left, like decades later. And her life was literally
What a waste.
wasted her whole life, but not only that, ruined her son's life, because he's like an alcoholic, and I hear that a lot. So we need to leave for our children.
Yeah. Yours is a prime example, and you're a prime example of what the right thing to do is under the circumstances. So with the house then, what happened to the house in that meantime? Because you're back in that house. That's the house you're currently selling. Is that right?
Okay, so this is actually, so for 10 years, so praise my dad. My dad, when I was in the Refuge, my dad contacted me and said, Tessa, put a caveat on the house. And because actually I put the house in, it was just in his name only. And I said, Dad, I don't care about the house. We bought the restaurant, sold it, and he just bought it. I don't know why that happened, but basically, my dad's like, get a caveat. I said, Dad, I don't care about the house. And I ended up doing it, getting a caveat on it. I asked the lawyer, some legal aid to help me. So for 10 years, he sat, rented out. And actual fact, my mum drove past it not long after that, and she said, Tessa, there's a for sale sign on it. So he would have sold it, would have been gone on drugs and would have been sold. And so for 10 years, I had no energy to do anything about it. And for 10 years, we lived in housing commission. I struggled, and then finally had the courage to go to court 10 years later. And all I was going to court for, I just wanted $30,000, the half of the money we got from the restaurant. And after the barrister read my court papers, which are about that thick, he said, I'll never forget it, he said, we're not effing going to court just for that. We're going to court for everything is done to you. And I got awarded $250,000 in damages. So
How much in damages?
$250,000.
What?
Yeah, I got awarded I remember the judge banging this thing, $70,000 for pain and suffering, $70,000 for loss of your modelling career, because I got a big modelling contract just before I went into the women's refuge that I had to walk away from, and so I got so anyway. So after 10 years, I got the house back. So it was a funny day actually, because I got Salvation Army furniture and all that stuff, and I rang the Salvos and said, I gave them the address and said, you can take everything in that house. So they come and took everything that we'd been blessed with, and we come only with mattresses. And all these years later, I'm literally giving away everything I've bought. I bought beautiful furniture over the years, and I'm selling it. I'm downsizing to a tiny home in a van, which I've wanted to do for the last, because my kids are all older. They've all left home. I've got this big house. And since I wrote my book, I realized I don't want to be here anymore. My kids are actually saying, Mum, the house is too big, and just need to get out of here. So I'm selling this house all these years later, probably for about $900,000. So
Yeah, wow.
it's a happy story.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, and thanks for being vulnerable there, because I didn't know that. We didn't discuss that in the pre-chat. But with the house then, I'm just trying to visualize those 3 years, that 3-year period where you're just locking yourself in your bedroom. Like, how do you go to the toilet? Wondering if you need the toilet in the middle of the night, you'd be shit scared to open the door because it might be fucking inside your house.
All those sort of things, like you just wouldn't drink water or anything like, you think of all that's madness. Even thinking about my kids, they want to go outside, they're in the backyard, and I'd lock the door standing in the kitchen because he was after me, not them, and it's just, It's actually insanity when you look back on it. It's actually,
Wow.
but ladies are going through this right now, and they
Mm.
like just yesterday I said I had a call of a lady, and it's hard for me because I can't get involved, and I just connect them to the right places and the solicitors and the lawyers, and I usually do it by send me an email because I get for my own mental health. I do get and I'm like I just have to send that off to a lawyer, connect them to the right places, and where I come in is really once they're moving forward, but. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's actually, when you think of it, I didn't even think of, but obviously I didn't drink or eat.
Mm.
And just the fear and it's craziness, like living like that.
So, did you so living in that house for so long? Since then, did you ever get triggered by the rooms that you're in? Because you've been in it for a bloody long time. And yes, you're selling it now. But have you ever been traumatized by that house? Or have you just got happy memories about it now?
No, so it's all positive. When we moved back, it was such a, because it's been 10 years and the kids was so, my kids, like my son Danny, it was actually, they went back to their schools. He went back to Northside Christian College 10 years later.
Wow.
My kids went back to their Sunday school and their churches and their friends. And my mum lives around the corner. We were living an hour away from all the family all that time, like we're living
Yeah.
so far. Because when you move to a refuge and for your safety, they move you far away. So we were, driving for miles, and it was just so good to be home. We were just so happy, and it was nothing but positive. Like, yes, we got our house back, and I was earning a lot of money at the time, become really pretty successful. I was a mortgage broker. I've done a lot of careers, and so we furnished each room one at a time with brand new furniture. So it was like my daughter, she got to choose her bedrooms, and it was all positive, and the kids were so happy to be home. And because, like I talked earlier about my mum, I didn't go on about negative stuff to my kids. I didn't talk about crap. So
Mm.
they didn't have this vision of this toxic. They actually, by this stage, they were seeing their dad every second weekend. And I went to my daughter's wedding, and we both did the speeches and all this sort of stuff because it's about my children. And my daughter actually says to me, Mum, I'm so lucky. I'm so grateful that I don't have any stress like other parents do that fight and everything. She doesn't know that what I think because I don't say it. What's the purpose to tell my children? Please don't do that. Don't tell your children the draining, toxic stuff that you think about their parents because you think I like the man. No, I don't. And
Mm.
also, what's the value for me to live in that toxic energy as well? I've moved on, and I'll never forgive it, but I don't want to live. I've used it for positive. But
You're not letting it define you, are you?
no, but we're not just wasting our life focusing. And like you said earlier at the very start of this conversation about the negative conversations, I've had to remove myself because I lived in government housing. I had to get a transfer to another government housing because it was just toxic. Everyone was just problems, problems. There was actually a lady who committed suicide there when I was there. There was one of my friends, she actually hung herself. With a lot of alcohol, a lot of depression, a lot of and I remember clearly saying I've got to get my kids out of here. So that was one place that was very toxic, and then I moved to another housing commission estate which was positive. And so but I remember clearly just being that person where a lot of the others just talk problems to their kids. And a boy committed suicide there, one of my and so many I see so many of the children of women who have been through abuse are just carries on. Like I'm heavily involved with a lot of people with mental health, and like a lot of, and where do you think all these people on drugs and alcohol, where do you think that comes from? Toxic families. So
Mm.
I know for a fact, I did my best to make sure that of course my children suffered, of course they did, they've all had, it wasn't easy. They've all suffered from, they've seen things and witnessed things, but I did my best not to drain their lives any further than what they actually experienced already. Not having, so I was like, let's play basketball and let's do all the sports and the fun stuff. And yes, of course, they've had to experience things, but why make it worse by
Yeah.
spending your days talking about it in front of the poor kids? And this is what parents do. Some of these, please don't do that out there. It's just so bad for your children.
Yeah. You're very public with your story now. Are they aware of your journey? Have you ever spoken to them about your journey? Or have they asked you questions about it? Because you've got the book, you do what you do every day. They clearly probably know your purpose. Like, what do
Yeah, my children, they know what I do, but because like they know what I do and they're adults now, but because rarely do I go into this much detail. But or I'll say, like, I've told you some snippets of the story without going to the graphic,
Yeah,
draining story, like it's action packed.
sure.
But so the kids know the gist of things. Obviously, they know we're in a refuge. They know they know what I do, and they're actually really proud of me. When the book came out, I actually messaged them and say, "Hey guys," I just messaged them to say, "Hey guys, just letting you know the book I've written about bit about our story, guys, but I don't mention that, yeah, I said the book's coming out, guys. Just letting you know, but it's a positive story, guys. A little bit about what we've been through, but more importantly, what I'm doing now, and to help other people." And they all said to me, "We're so proud of you, Mum. Congratulations!" And they've all said they're really proud of me. They're so proud of me with the work I do and the positivity. Because years ago, I actually used to do a lot of talks for the Salvation Army. I was on Studio 10. I did a lot of talks years ago when I got out of the refuge. But I stopped doing it because it was very draining and they just wanted a sob story. And I hadn't actually healed to who I am yet. So the stories were they just wanted to ask me the detail about the draining stuff. So I thought, I don't want to do this. I don't want my children or grandchildren to see all this stuff, So now, and then I just made that conscious decision that I'm going to help make a difference about this topic. But you know what the feedback I get? "Oh, you're so positive. Oh, I saw your story. Oh, that's what I wanted. That's the impact I wanted. I wanted people to know, yes, I've been through extreme stuff. Yes, I have. But like yourself, but we've used that to make a difference to other people, and we'll share our story, but to help. And then we've got the positive side to it,
Yeah,
not just sharing the story like I used to. And that's all right. Thank you, Tessa, for your story." And then it's like,
and it's
that's
over. Yeah,
but at the time, it's like, no, I don't want to do that. Because I was, at the time I was doing these talks, I was a trainer and helping people with mental health and moving forward. I've been doing that. I worked in a detention center since I've done this stuff since I was 29. I started working at a detention center and started doing training. So I've been doing this for a long time, helping people. But they only wanted my story about the negative. And I
yeah.
just didn't want to do it. It's draining.
That's where we probably align because I suppose our angle now is the root cause, isn't it? Let's go to the root cause. Let's prevent this from happening. You might share your little snippet of your journey here to capture people's eyes or ears or whatever it may be, but really, because I don't go on about my story. I mean, I share my story so the guests feel vulnerable. Feel safe to be vulnerable, because if I don't give them a piece of me, how can I expect them to give a piece of them to me and to the world? So I do share on a pre-chat, but I don't publicly repeat it over and over and over again. My viewers probably do know it because it's in my book. That's where it rests peacefully. And if people want to know it, they can know it. I'm definitely not closed off from people knowing the story. However, I don't need to go on about it anymore because I'm not going to let it define me. I'm going to do a live speaking event, hopefully, in the next couple of months. And I've wrote my speech and I mentioned maybe 3 snippets of it. But I go into the root causes of the podcast and I go into the depth of the community and the benefits that we want the changes and the benefits of those changes we want to give to the world, and how, I suppose, neuroscience for me and human physiology is understanding the body at a deep level to understand the root causes, whether it's diseases, whether it's cancer, whether it's brain health, whether it's preventing our mentality going south. If we can build ourselves up, no matter what comes to us, maybe we can come out on a better angle. Me and you could go through the same car crash, and I could come out depressed, and you could get up and shake it off and walk off. Do you know what I mean? So it's about understanding ourselves at a deep level. So if something comes our way, we might be able to come out of it half decent. On the subject of your book, then, I've got it here. Thank you for sending it to me, by the way.
Yeah.
I want to do a little plug. If somebody was going to buy your book, what would we experience from your book?
So that book, I'm so proud of that book. There's 14 stories in there of ladies that have been through extreme, and every story is different. Like there's, stories from like abuse from the mother, just all different graphic stories. And it's just, I knew a lot of them ladies who have come to my retreats, and when I was going through their stories, I was like, whoa, I was in shock.
Join us tomorrow to hear more from today's incredible guests and learn valuable insights to help you lead your own way. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you then.